Welcome to season 4 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast. I am so excited to share some new ideas and experiences with you and also introduce some more wonderful and fantastic people on the platform. Be sure to visit our site, www.beyourownkind.com, to be able to keep up with the latest news and the latest blogs and content. Also, we have a Facebook community that involves giveaways, touch base, and exclusive deals. If you like the content, be sure to tip your girl a matcha tea on Ko-fi, located at ko-fi.com/be your own kind 24. Thanks again for your continued support and enjoy the episode. Well, hello, Miss Denina. How are you?
Hi, I am well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Listeners, she honored me by having me a guest on her podcast, which we're going to go into a little bit later. And I'm just so excited that she decided to come over here on our side and just grace us with her wisdom today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's a pleasure. I mean, I've seen your podcast. I love it. And I'm honored to be on here. It's you, Renita. I got to do it for you.
Yes. Well, no one knows. We're pretty much childhood friends. We grew up together. Our families are like best friends. And so we just grew up together. So it's always good to reconnect with someone and just see how much they've grown, Yeah, so this is amazing. So tell us a little bit about, okay, I know about you, but tell the audience a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm Denina. You can call me D. I'm a mother of 2 kids. I'm a divorcee. I am a Christian believer. I believe in the Lord. Basically, I now am an entrepreneur, and I've established the Shift to Empowerment LLC last year. We made a year this year on August 18th. I'm so excited. The Shift to Empowerment, just to briefly tell you guys that it's all about empowering people, encouraging people, educating people, because I come from a place of my life, certain personal experiences and issues and things that I've dealt with in my childhood and, even growing up, adolescence and so forth. So many things that I had to conquer, I had to get healed from, I had to be delivered from. And that's when the spiritual perspective come in there. But I basically, this business is established as a counseling or coaching business, as you would say. It is to help those that are struggling and that those that are dealing with issues and that maybe don't know how to come out of it. They are seeking help or they're seeking guidance. They are afraid to go to their family members or somebody that they can confide in. This here is a safe place, where we can relate to one another, especially if I've been down that road that you've been down, and if I can offer you wisdom, if I can offer you encouragement or empowerment to say, hey, I've been down there. You don't want to do that. It's just like a mentor thing to it in a sort of way, to steer you on the right path and to navigate you on your place of healing and your place of deliverance. So I can come from a personal perspective, I can come from a spiritual perspective, and I can also come from an educational perspective because I have a degree in psychology. And I'm in the process of becoming a licensed counselor, but I'm working in the social services field. So, all of this, this is all affiliated with each other. Mm-hmm. And so what I try to do is it's just enlightening the minds of people and trying to be their support team for them. And because we all need one, regardless of whether you may say that you don't need one or not. but I know everybody here in life needs some sort of support system, and they need help in their way of life, because you never know what is thrown at you day by day. If you can find someone who you are able to confide in, or who are able to offer you some sort of wisdom and guidance, and the Bible tells us to surround ourselves around wise counsel, and so that's what I'm here for, and not here to judge people either. I don't think no one should judge people. No judgment zone. You don't have the ability or the right to judge people. God is the judge. Who are we to judge people? Because we're just imperfect people. Okay. And so, but we allow, in my prayer and devotion, I allow God through that to perfect me in areas so that I can be a help and an aid to somebody else.
I love that. I love that. I love everything about that. The simple fact of people not feeling alone. Because I feel like part of depression, right, is when you feel like no one's going through this. No one can relate to me. So the fact that, you're giving an olive branch, like, hey, you're not alone. I've been through this. And not only saying, hey, I've been through this, but I'm seeing you go down a road that maybe you don't want to go down. So it's almost like saving someone the grief that you might have encountered because you didn't know, how not to go that way. And
Right.
then the whole no judgment thing. I feel like a lot of people sit in silence and sit in their pain because they're afraid of someone else's opinion or someone judging them. So you allowing people to have the safe space for all of that, I think that's just super amazing. Super amazing.
I try my best, and yeah, and it's a lot of people that suffer probably in silence too, and and depressed don't even know it, because they're wallowing in it. But we're not meant to live in that life, in that space of lowliness and lowly in spirit. You wasn't created to live there. So it's at a time and a place in your life when you have to come out of that thing, and if we can steer you and help you in whatever area to get you upward, arise from that place, and to get you going to your destiny, which is greater. You were designed to live here abundantly and to live a life that is fulfilling to you, not to live in mediocrity, not to live in average living. You were designed to live an amazing, abundant life. And our destiny is so great. We wasn't just here to live or work day by day. That's 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's 9 to 5, day by day. That's why I took the initiative to say, when I was working that 9 to 5 job, I said, it was just something within me was saying, it's more than this, or this is not your purpose. This is not fulfilling to you. It's got to be something else here. And so through like a lot of prayer and a lot of asking, lo and behold, I knew that this was something that I was designed to do from the beginning. It was just something that I felt uncomfortable with at the time, but I had to come out of that shell. And that's what a lot of people too have to come out of your shell. And it may feel uncomfortable, but it's your place that is going to lead you to a greater, higher place, the place that you were designed to be. And sometimes you just got to go by faith. You got to live life by faith. And that's what it is. Learning to be out in the forefront. I wasn't really much a talker. Well, maybe I was a talker, but you know what I mean? Like talking in front of the camera, talking in front of people openly.
Right.
On these social media pages, you're speaking to people that you don't even know.
Right.
I haven't been there before, but this calling, this purpose that I am doing, because I'm so purpose driven now that once I got into it, I'm head on. I don't want to stop. I just want to keep going to the next level, the next thing. And so by me being purpose driven, I'm just ready to, go to the next level, to do it all. And ain't no stopping me now, because once I'm in it, I'm just ready to go head on, go full force.
I love that. And so you mentioned living by faith, and I know that's one of your not your expectations, but one of your part of your motto. of your business. And so, okay, so we're there, but we weren't always there. So what advice would you have to a person that's like, they want to live by faith, they want to launch into that business or launch into their purpose, but they're just afraid to? Like, what advice would you have for a person struggling
with faith?
Yeah, they're just fear. Fear is like, they're paralyzing fear.
Fear will rob you of a lot of things, especially reaching your highest potential. And and we speaking of faith, and so faith, I would say faith over fear, because I don't know how I would say this. I mean, faith in the Bible, it tells us so many times, do not fear, do not fear, do not fear. We are not supposed to fear anything, although we have, and there's things in life that we could be fearful of. But for me, I would say personally, and whoever needs to hear this, like for me, I always believed that there was something more for me. And I think you have to, it's a belief system. You have to have that mindset, starting with the mindset of, I know that I deserve better. I know that this is not the place for me to remain in this whatever situation or place if you're wanting more for yourself.
Right.
So for me, it was a mindset, and I believe that is what it is for a lot of people. You have to change your mindset from fear and to just going full force into what you are afraid of. Do get afraid, basically. Whatever that you want to do, your purpose is something that you can do without being paid for it. I would do it anyway. Whatever it is that is designed for you, that you love to do and that you want to do, and if you're afraid of it, do it anyway. Any task, anything, any assignment that you have, that you or focus that you're leaning toward more so, any goal or aspiration, ambition that you have in your heart, do it afraid, because you never know what that can lead you to. It can lead you to meeting this person, and this person opened the door for you, and this person is introducing to you another person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know. I would say, and that will build your faith too, because certain times when I was afraid of, even like, say for instance, the podcast or something, like openly, I would do it, and then I would do it afraid, nervous, trembling sometimes. And now I've become accustomed to it because I've been doing it more. But in the beginning, I was afraid to do it. But when I did it, afterwards, I said, oh, I can do this again. You know what I mean? Like, do it afraid, regardless if you're nervous, regardless of you're timid, regardless of you having that ill feeling, just go ahead, full force, and do it anyway, because you may just come out of it and say, hey, I can do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or this is something for me I can do. And so, and that's when my faith built. I mean, after that, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this again. I believe that I can do this, And also, what empowered me too is just like, basically, like, I don't want to keep saying like, I keep saying like, but basically, my prayer life with God, like it actually helped me so much. And I'm just being honest with you. I'm just telling you the truth. Once I did it afraid, and then I was able to pray about it to Lord, increase my faith, increase my belief, increase me, enable me to be able to handle this, of which you have wanted me to do. He will give you the power and the strength to do so. He will give it to you. And so just rely on that. Rely on God and do it anyway. Do it afraid. That's what I say. And your faith will build more and more.
I love that. I am actually petrified of public speaking. So I know what it's like to just do it like scared. Every time that I'm about to have an interview, I'm talking with strangers, not you, but I don't know what the person is going to be like, and the fact of, oh my God, what if I stutter? And My word is you. What is it? You know. I say you know a lot. You know.
Yes,
So I
yes.
try to catch that.
Yes. I know. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
And so, you know, I was in Toastmasters, which I really need to get back active in. And they would say, like, we don't know. So you're saying you know, but we don't know until you say it. So I still have to catch myself with that, you know, like little stuff like that. And at first I used to be like, oh, people think I'm just dumb. Most people didn't even notice that I say you know a lot, but I noticed it. So I love what you said, just doing it afraid. Because when I get off of any type of live or any type of interview, or I'm editing, I'm like, oh, you could have said that a better way. But you know what? You know what I mean. So it's like all you can do in life is your best. So,
yes, I remember. Can I tell you this story real quick?
yeah.
I remember the first time. So, my first speaking in front of a lot of people before I even started the Shift to Empowerment was at a youth program at Paradise Church. And my mom has been always over the youth ministry there. And of course, I know the people there. Although I was still afraid then because I just didn't speak in front of people. And so she said, I want you to speak this year. And I said, oh my God. I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah, I wanted you. And I prayed about it, and it was just something in my spirit that said, it's time, it's time, it's time. It kept saying, it's time. And I said, okay. And so my mom gave me the topic of the speaking of the sermon, or I guess it was a sermon, because it was in church. It was in the pulpit and everything.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was at the pulpit like a preacher. I know. I had to go up there in front of where the preacher stands in front of the podium. And I'm like, oh God. But I got my sermon. I was working on it, like not day by day, maybe week by week and everything. I was so nervous up to that point. I didn't pray, I didn't fasted, I didn't did everything. And I got in front of on that day. And these people I already know, but I was still shaking. I don't know. I got up there and I did the best I could, and it turned out wonderful. You know, or at least I think wonderful.
I'm sure it was amazing.
Yeah. My mom was like, "Oh, you did amazing." I'm like, "Oh wow!" I just got so much love afterwards. It made me feel so good. And then later, I started Shift to Empowerment, but that was my first in speaking. It was at the church on a youth program, on a youth day. In the morning service, as like in the podium, as a preacher would preach up there. I went up there and and everybody was there, Renita. I'm like, oh God, okay. I said, Lord, you got me. We gonna do this. And we did it, and it came out actually amazing than what I thought. And my faith, like I said, it increases every time that you think that you're gonna either mess up or fail at it or something. That's where the fear comes. It's a mindset. You gotta change your mindset from fear to faith. And sometimes that can come with overthinking too. You're replaying like these scenarios in your mind of what could possibly happen wrong. And we got to be careful of that, because we have to always remember that we can do all things, you know?
That's my favorite scripture. And then, you know what, you made a point. That's probably where the paralysis comes with fear, right? Because you're sitting there thinking of everything that can go wrong. And the reason why I do things scared is so it eliminates that whole part. So I know the outcome because I just did it. And I made it. It wasn't as bad as I could have thought it was, you know, and I know that can be a little impulsive at times, but some things when I know that if I don't do this right now, it's not going to get done, I just do it. That's even with this podcast. I was like, I want to start a podcast. I kept saying, and one day I said, no, I'm going to start this thing out the blue. Probably should have researched before I did it, but I went and did it, because if I wouldn't have did it at that time, I still wouldn't have had a podcast. So I do a lot of impulsive things, and then later on be like, I probably should have thought that out. But I know myself. I know I'll talk myself out of it. So I just eliminate that whole part, and I just launch.
Yeah.
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 So
We
there's
all.
a balance with that.
Yeah. I think we all been there once at one point in our lives. We look back and say, "Oh, why did I say that?" Or what should I? Yeah. But listen, we got another time to make it up. We can make it up. We can keep going, keep going. It'll get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I usually just go and then I, build back up. Now I'm learning, okay, take a minute to research and do this thing. But at that point in my life, I was holding myself back so much. It was just like, no, we're just gonna do this thing today. So we can quit thinking about it. Nowadays I know there's a more healthy way of doing it, but I feel like there are some things in life that that you're ready for, that you're qualified for, and you just don't take that leap.
Yeah.
So everything doesn't take research and development. For some people have been research and developing for years. They've been in R&D for a long time. And people getting the degrees, they know they're ready, they got the experience, and they still won't launch for that six-figure job, or they still won't launch into that business, and they're more than qualified. So some things I do suggest people leave.
Yeah, and if you're qualified for it, why not? Also, it helps too to have like support too. I mean, as far as like a person that, so for me, there was like family around me that always, like, there was an encouragement there, and some people don't have that. Some people don't need that support, and that's what Shift to Empowerment is too, as far as coaching you into, hey, let's try this, let's do that, where are you at in your life right now? Let's take step by step. What can we work on now that we can get you to this point or this point? Let's set out a plan. Let's work together on this. I'm willing to work with you on this. Because I know what it feels like to be in that place. And if I have come out of that place, let me help you and guide you on your way too. I'm here for you,
Right.
And sometimes you need that somebody there. Sometimes you need somebody to coach you into knowing, and I'm sorry to say this, like you'll know the greatness that is in you. You should already know that already, but some people don't, and that's why they probably don't make a move. They maybe don't feel like they're worthy enough to have it or to do it, or it could be fear, whatever it is.
You're right, because what if they grew up with a lot of people telling them that they weren't capable? You don't know
people's childhoods, right? You don't know what environment they were around that make them feel like they can't even do anything, even though they are qualified. They may have influencers in their space or in their household. They are negative influencers,
right?
And anyone who has your ear can influence you, whether it's negative or positive.
That's true.
So you got to be careful of your company and your surroundings too. So it's a lot. I think it's different factors, but most importantly that you have somebody there to coach you, or you have a family, or most times it's like the guardians or the parents that's there for the kids, or adults, I would say, whoever their significant other, I don't know, whatever the relationship context is there, or with their family, their relatives, close relatives, or whoever that is around them, to help them to realize that they are and they can do it. That I even train my child up. That's what the Bible says, train up a child. But my 6-year-old, my 10-year-old, I tell them now, you can do anything that you want to do. Do not fear. You can do it. Have a mindset. Have your own mind. You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to do what they're doing. You don't have to dress the way they dress nowadays. Mommy is not going to buy that anyway. But I'm going to tell you this. Okay. Amen.
Amen.
I'm not going to buy that anyway. I don't care who is there. They have these iPhones now that in first grade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no.
I didn't even know that many people have $1,000 phone.
Oh, they do it for emergency reasons.
Oh, I'm sure an Android will do the job.
I said, Yeah. Let's focus on your grades, but it's all about training up a child, so you never know what their environment was growing up. You don't know if they had the support. Maybe they feel like have low self-esteem,
Yeah.
and that's another thing that is on my website too. I focus on topics like conquering low self-esteem, overcoming abandonment issues. You feel abandoned, then you're seeking this love or whatever it is from another person that may not have your best interest at heart. That's how you'll get into relationships that you shouldn't be affiliated with. You'll go into drinking alcohol and become addicted to alcohol. You don't know, you're dependent upon other things, when you have those abandonment issues, when there's a void within you that needs to be filled. So when I think of people, as you say, that are not making a move, or I think about like where are they coming from? What is the history there? What is your background like? Right. I get deep down there. I like to go that far. Yeah.
You like to pull the, what's it called?
Oh yeah, because it's coming from
a root. Yeah, it's a root.
Oh yeah.
It definitely is a root. And I feel like, and you talked about family support system. Some would argue that it's the family that have planted those ideas and those pretty much stopping points for them. And I feel like some family members don't mean to. I think their fear kind of projects out on the kid, and they don't want them to go through any hardships. So when the kid is like, oh, I want to be a writer, ain't no money in being a writer. You gotta do, like things like that. And really, really, they're protecting their child, but they're really not. In their mind, they're protecting their child, but they're really not. So sometimes it's just that inadvertent, like fear projected on their child that kind of rolls up with them when they get older. They have this passion, but this passion ain't gonna pay the bills, that type of thinking. So it's always good. That's why I feel like what you said about changing mindsets, because really you're never too old to change mindsets. I do not like the term, well, I'm old, now I am who I am. You don't have to stay. I don't care how old you are. You don't have to, you're not cemented to a mindset. Mm-hmm. Once you realize it is thinking, you can change that. You know what I'm saying? So that could also be a factor as well. So, and it's not on purpose. It's just how some people are.
That is true. That is true. I say feel your way through. I mean, like you say, like some certain family may say, they don't make no money, or if that's something that they want to do, let them find their way. But sometimes they come from a lot of generational cycles and abuse. Mm-hmm. A lot of generational mindsets that has to be broken, and that's spiritual though. That's when the spiritual perspective come in. You need a prayer life to break that generational curse, because you're not subjected to one thing, or you don't listen to just because this don't make another. But if it's something within you, who knows, you can be a millionaire in that area or that role or that position or that title, whatever it is. Let them find their way. I don't force it. Let them find their way.
I like that. Because you don't know. That might be like, I feel like I was always saying, I got in trouble a lot for talking. So it didn't matter who you set me next to, I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna I don't care if you're a stranger.
You're a great extrovert.
I'm not that's the thing. I'm really introverted. Nobody believes it, but I am.
Okay, our birthdays are closely together, so I get you, okay? We are extroverted, but we're introverted at the same time. I don't know how you describe it.
I think it's called an ambivert. I saw the word ambivert, like a best of both worlds type thing. Yes. Yeah. So, I love socializing, but I need my little, time.
Yes. I get it.
Right. So I got in trouble for talking a lot. And now it's just funny how I was told, shh, you talk too much. And now I have a podcast. Now my platform is all about me talking all the time. So it's like, right. So I read somewhere, they always say to go back to something that you did a lot as a child, that you probably got in trouble for as a child. And then you look as an adult and you're like, I did do that a lot because I like to do that. I like conversation. I always have. So it's funny how when the little kid is writing all the time, then they're like, you need to do something else. That's why I said that's that inadvertent, invalidation. When you see that this person is writing, let me put you in a writing class. If it flops, it flops. But here's my thing: at least you tried. And here's the thing: why is our first mind flop or negative? Or what if I fail? What if I succeed at this thing? Right. That's what you're saying about a mindset. Like, what if I actually rock this? What if I'm a best-selling author? What if I'm a renowned public speaker?
Yes.
So why don't we take our minds there? And that's why I like the fact that you said a shift in mindset. So yeah.
Yeah, because we're so prone to going to the negative first, don't we?
Exactly.
And that we don't think about that we could be a bestseller. We could be the greatest recording artist. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you can be the greatest or whatever it is. Don't be so prone to going to negative first.
Right.
And what helps with that too is like maybe creating like visual boards or any type of vision board that you can see daily or something that you're able to say, that you want to see manifest into your life. That's good to even start there. And if you're looking at this visual daily, hopefully that can be some sort of change in your mindset. Visual, as you can see it differently. Oh, I'm aiming toward this goal. And I, write those things down. It can be a helpful way to start changing your mindset.
Yeah, I agree.
Start journaling or something to say, oh, I am the best. I am this. Affirm yourself. But how people put up like different stickers or posters around the house. I am beautiful. Yeah. I am. Yeah. That is a start too, that it can start to change your mindset, and you see it daily, and it starts to get into your mind, into your spirit, and you develop your self-confidence. It can change. It can change the whole perspective of your mind from shifting from negative to positive, shifting from not fear to faith, shifting from, oh, I can't do this, well, I can do all these things. I think we just got to take the preventative measures to get to that point.
And it's a daily thing. It's not I'm gonna read all my affirmations today and then I'm not gonna come back to it tomorrow. It has to be a daily thing, because when you're reprogramming something, it's consistent. That let it stick. And so I love that you said that. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. People often think anxiety looks one way, but it has many faces and many emotions that sometimes can be overwhelming and daunting. I know about this feeling all too well, because at a point I felt powerless to my emotions, almost to the point of drowning in them. So I decided to seek out a therapist to later learn that I have generalized anxiety disorder. If you have been experiencing the same feeling, please know that BetterHelp is here to help. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. You have the option of talking with a therapist in a private, online environment at your convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in under 48 hours. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific need, and then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Then you will schedule secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you get to exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. Thanks to therapy, I learned the tools that I needed to conquer my anxiety and over-obsessive thinking. I did it afraid, and I took that leap to talk with someone, to later learn that it was going to be okay and that I was going to be okay. Please know that you can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 3 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. And better yet, get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/BYOK. That's better, HELP.com/BYOK. BYOK because you deserve it.
And consistency is key. That's all I want.
It is. Consistency is key. And when you even when you work health, we were supposed to be talking about healthy living, but even when you're working out, we always change the
Talkers, you see, we got to come up with a word for intro and extrovert. It got to be something in between. We got to make it up for us.
Right. So I mean, even when you're working out and you see little change, and this is my thing. I'm not even gonna give a scenario. I'm gonna give a real. When I start the healthy working out and this and that, I'm on it. I'm on the grind, but then my change isn't coming quick enough. So now I'm impatient with the process. Now I go back to the old ways. Now I look up a year later, I'm starting over at the same way. And that's how attitude is as well. When you are changing something, it is not a quick change. It is not TV where you feel one day, you feel you're one way, and then the next day you're totally different. It is a day-by-day process. And with some things, it's a minute-by-minute process, hour-by-hour process. All we can do is take it day to day. And I feel like the consistency doesn't remain consistent due to impatience.
Yeah. Patience is the key. It is important, especially if you're on this journey of living a healthy life, or you're striving to a goal. You have to remain consistent in it. That's how you're going to see progress. That's how you're going to see a significant change, or the change that you had in your mind, to see, for yourself. You have to remain consistent, and what comes with consistency is patience. When you don't see the results, when you don't see it manifesting, when you don't see that things are happening quickly like you thought it was going to happen, patience is key. And how do we keep patience? Prayer. For me, I just pray for patience.
Yeah.
Patience with my kids. Patience. You definitely need patience with kids, with family. You need patience with even, in relational context, patience on your journey in exercise and physical exercise, or whatever the case is, healthy diet. Patience, because it's not gonna, I don't think the results are not going to come as quick as you think they are going to come, but you have to remain consistent in it, patient in it, so that you will eventually see it. You don't know how long, but hopefully, those things have that. It's been certain things, I would say, for me, that I've been wanting to see significant changes in, or, to see it come to pass. And I just praying, God, give me patience, because I find myself being a more patient person now, but sometimes it's like, okay. Okay. Alrighty. But I trust you, you give me the patience, and then, I try to, I think what generally happens then is, when I haven't seen it yet, of course I remain patient with it, but then my mindset goes to focus on something else. So I kind of shifted from, I continue on at that goal or that aim of whatever I wanted, but then I try not to focus on it so much, because I'm going to want it, or I'm going to want to, I don't know, see that change happen right now, and I don't want to get aggravated by it. I don't want to be frustrated by it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release it into the hands of the Lord, and then I'm going to focus on something else that I, or whatever, remaining productive in my day, to get my mind off of it. Although I know I have to take care of it, but something else that will keep me productive, so I'm not becoming frustrated with the process. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you speak a word on that. You give it to God, because when you give it to God, now it's His business. It's no longer yours. So
Yeah.
you hand it off to him. I know the serenity prayer is to accept the things I cannot change and change the things I can. My serenity prayer is change what I can and give to God what I can't control. Like I can't. I just got to give it to you, and I just have to wait. And I like the fact of keeping busy. This is probably why God tells us to minister to others or to give and charity, to love and do all of this. Because we're doing all of these things, we're kind of not paying attention to the stuff that we need to be patient about, because we're occupying our time and occupying our mind with going about his business while he's working on our business. And so I think that's a key element. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. That's what I've learned to do, just to give it to God. And it's like, it's in your hands. I know you're going to handle it. And my focus is being productive on my day or anything that I have to do throughout the day. And then lo and behold, you look up and, it's done. Or, you know what I mean? Like you'll have it, you'll see the goal, you'll see the achievement, you'll recognize that,
Yeah, and I notate my friends.
And also, I'm sorry. And also when I was saying that, to also say that when we were speaking about patience, God will give you the patience that you need, patience that you need for, what you're waiting on or whatever you're expecting. And don't lose your expectation either.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he knows we're going to grow weary, because there are a lot of scriptures that saying, don't grow weary. I'll give you courage. I'll give you strength. When you it's a lot of little scriptures that say he'll give you strength. It's okay. I'll give you strength. I'll give you strength. Like, I think he realizes that there is frustration in the waiting. It's frustrating. And it's almost defeated. Like you almost feel a little defeated at sometimes. And that's why he says, rest in me. I'll give you courage. Ask for this, ask for that, ask for this, because he knows that, the waiting period is not comfortable. But in that waiting period, if we pay attention, I'm just speaking from my personal experience. When I'm not so focused on the end result, I start paying attention to these little lessons that I learned along the way. And I even jot down, like what I was saying, I jot down my prayers, and sometimes I'll go back to them a month or 2 months or 3 months later. And I love the fact of saying, he did this, he did that, he did that. Because I'm a person that have to write it down and get it out. And so I'll go back to it and be like, oh, while this was happening, this was done, this got done, this got done. And I like that, because that's evidence for me. Like if he did this for me, he'll do this thing for me that I need him to do right now. And so it's also just going back on your past and looking at all that you've been through. Looking at that time you wanted to change something, and looking at who you are now and how you did change that can also be an encouragement. Like, okay, I want to do this change. I have to be patient, because when I wanted to change this, I'm not that same person, or not that same whatever. I reached this goal, whatever from the past to present has changed. So if you can change from point A to point B, you definitely can make it from point B to point C. And that encourages you sometimes, so
yeah. And what I was going to add to that, basically that is true, and I rely solely on God, because I know that he's my strength, and he gives me the patience I need with my day, even when I've been waiting to see, like you say, like you put out what do you say, like you put out these visuals, or to keep you encouraged, basically. And that's something that we have to do, like as far as like when I spoke about like the visuals and stuff like that is something like a reminder when you don't want to get frustrated, but you see the goal, and something when God comes through, that is evidence. It's evidence that he will always come through, and it building your faith, that builds my faith up, knowing that he can do it for me, and I'm not going to worry. And sometimes, I'm not gonna say most times, all the time, when he comes through, is pretty much better than what we ever even expected in the first place.
Man, it's beyond imagination. Like, oh, I wanted this little pebble, I got this big mountain. Okay. So Hmm.
Remain hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
I
lose
love
hope
that.
on those things. Because it, just have a mindset like believing that it's gonna happen. It'll happen.
It definitely will. I mean, this was not the subject we were going for. But this is probably where we needed to be today. I really love this. So we have a signature question here at BYOK. And that is, if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be and why?
Oh my. In one word. Wow. Oh. Oh we. Oh wow. There's so many things that come to my mind.
You can do two if you want.
Okay, two come to my mind.
Okay.
Ambitious, victorious.
And why?
I'm gonna go with victorious. That's my one word.
Okay.
Because I think it all sums up. Victorious.
Okay. Okay. I like that. But why, Denina?
Because I know who I belong to.
Oh.
Mindset, remember?
Yeah. I love
know who I belong to. I got the victory in everything.
That's the end result every time.
I'm gonna have the victory. We winners. We're always winners.
That's true.
And so, listen, I've been through too much in my life. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. I've endured so much in my life that people probably wouldn't even understand how I'm still alive, breathing, standing strong. You wouldn't even believe it. They say you don't look like what you've been through. I think I look better than I was before. Although I've been through those things. I've been through so much that I've come out victorious. Why am I come out victorious? Because I got God on my side. And he doesn't lose. He's sovereign. And I'm so confident, and I'm just so confident in him and in knowing that I belong to God. And by me belonging to God, I'm victorious in it all. It's whatever it is, it's not saying that we're exempt from life, that you're not possibly maybe going through something. No, everybody's going through something. You know what I mean? If it's small, if it's whatever, if it's big, I don't know the extreme measures of your what you're going through, but when you know that you made it through a lot of things in your life, nothing can stop me now. Nothing can hold me down. I know that I'm already a conqueror. I'm victorious. I'm going to win this. I'm going to come out on top. You can't stop me. You can't block me. Rebuke any evil thought that comes to your mind. Rebuke it. It's only Satan. He's a liar. He cannot have your mind. He cannot have what belongs to you. He cannot take that. That's his job, to do those things and to make you feel defeated when you already know that you're a winner. So what you have to do, and I put a post on my Instagram today, you have to put a demand. God, there's a point where God demands us to shout and to speak up for ourselves and from our voice. He wants to hear us claim those things, that you are a child of God, that you're not going to stay here, that whatever you're seeking God for, that it's going to come to pass. I'm sorry to get spiritual on this thing, but I feel it right now.
I love that. I'm feeling all of this because this is living on faith. This is our whole subject, what you're saying. I love it. Yeah.
Don't feel defeated in nothing. Don't feel defeated in nothing. And I mean literally nothing. whatever you want see to happen for yourself, for your life, for your family, for your future, believe that it's going to be done, and it's already done, and you're going to come out victorious. You're going to have it. And, you know, get closer in relationship with God, because I believe that's what built my faith up so much. It built me up so much that no opinion of people, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do. You know, I'ma love you anyway, of course, but I know who I am. You gotta know who you are, and don't waver in that.
I love all of this.
Know who you are in Christ, know who you are as a person, and change. Don't feel like you can't not do what you feel led to do or what you are expecting God for. He's going to always come through. He's going to always come through. And I believe it for you, and I believe it for me and everybody else that is expecting something from God, because it's going to happen and we're victorious.
Amen, amen. Wow, Denina, that was powerful. That was powerful. I actually was just drinking all that up. That was powerful.
I actually could go more, but I want to stop it here because
I feel like you're doing. I feel like you're on right now. You got on that food
rising in my spirit. I had to. All right, let's.
What they say when that's going back to thinking back about how far God has taken you. Like, I'm not going back there. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
All I can go is forward. That's all I got. And I know God had me back there in the pit, and He gonna have me right now. And that is the epitome of living by faith. That is living by faith. It don't look right. It don't smell right. Things is funny, but I trust that God is going to see me through, because that's what He always does. You know.
Yes.
So, it's in those toughest times where our faith is tested, and in those best of times where we build our faith. And I feel like that's what gets missed, is when things are going good, we don't really contact, pray, but that is the time where we should build our faith.
Yeah.
So when that hard time comes, you're not shivering and trembling. You like, God got this. I'm going to continue on with my day, you know? So I think that that's sometimes the misstep as well. When things are all flowery, we're not, because life happens. we're not practicing our faith, you know, and then it's like an emergency. Stop what you're doing, world. I have an emergency. And build your faith up now when things are, smooth. So, not to repeat that again, but yeah, I really love what you said. Like, in the end, there's always victory. And that kind of relax all that anxiety and all that worry, right?
Yeah.
Even with us knowing that we worry, that's human, but I think it's how long you worry that makes the difference.
That is, it means it's an expiration date on it.
Right. Like, I'm gonna feel this thing, but eventually I'm gonna have to pray or do something, which is the doing something about it, mostly essentially praying about it. But, if it's something that within your control, which is, because the one thing we can't control is us and how we react. Either I'm going to blow off at you, or I'm going to walk away. Or either I'm going to worry or I'm going to pray. Either I'm going to sit there and communicate or engage in things that don't serve me, or I'm going to go somewhere and read a book or do something that does serve me. Every day we make tiny little choices that can make or break our day.
And it is a choice. That's right. That's a choice. And we're not, like I said before, we're not exempt from life. So you never know what could happen, but everything that happens to you it's already in God's will for your life. So He already have a way for you to escape for it. And it's like, why would you love? I'll say this to me. I'll say this, and I'm gonna get personal on here real quick. In my divorce, that thing was, I was in it I was married 8 years. A part of that, we were separated. But I didn't expect my marriage to end, that was really hard on me. You know, I went into a depressive mode. I went into a real deep depression. I suffered a lot of abuse. You know, I went through a lot of things in that marriage, but I held on to it because I was so committed to my vows. I was committed to God that I remember his word that says God hates divorce. But I later had to realize that God don't hate me. He didn't want me to suffer in this pain and in the relationship context that I was not being fulfilled in. I was not being validated. I was not being respected. So I had to come out of it. It's my personal story, so I can share it. You know what I mean? We're speaking of this topic. So, you know, I've dealt with so much, and I just didn't think that life would do me like that. You know, it's the times when I had questioned God, like, why would you even, you know, I'm not out here in the streets. I'm not out here, you know, doing whatever I wanted to do. I was in church. I made sure my children, they were babies, but we were in church, you know. I made sure that our household was taken care of. I'm doing what I have to do as a wife, as a mother. And I'm like, what is happening here? You know, and so I had to seek therapy, support, because you can't always tell your family and your friends and your relatives, especially your mother or your father, whoever's close to you, because sometimes you realize that they have too much on them already, you know, and I don't want to worry you with more stuff. If you have, you know, that's the kind of love I got for people. I don't like to bother people with issues or with, even though I know that the extent of what they're going through personally. So what I had to do is I was questioning God about it. And I knew it was a time where it was coming to an end, because, you know, sometimes, you know, it was coming to an end. Speaking of the divorce, I had to pray. I had to really seek God on this. This is where it was a change in my relationship. I shifted from religion to relationship. This thing made me fall on my knees. Like, it made me fall on, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, from that point on, it was like, what is it? Skyrocketed. I went straight up. My prayer life, it was like I developed this relationship with God, and I was so set on, I was so hurt and so depressed that I had to have God to release me from this thing, because I was going to end up either dead or, I don't know, something, or in a hospital some kind of way, you know what I mean, some kind of facility. I said, Lord, you got to do it for me, because I don't know. You know, you see my heart, you know where I'm at, you know my stance on this. And so what am I going to do going forward? I got children. I have to maintain the household. You know, my marriage, the marriage I had with my ex-husband, it was falling apart. And I'm like, oh God, I have to still work, you know. So this is where my faith had started. I had started to have a relationship with God, and not just going only to church, because that's what we're accustomed to. We're accustomed to tradition. We're accustomed to going into the four walls and being with other believers. Yeah, but it's different when you have a relationship. And this is the point where I learned a relationship. God has awakened me. He's awakened me that I had to leave. At that point, I had to leave my ex-husband, and to start all over again, you know, or, you know, go through that process. But I had to remove myself. It was hard, really hard, but I had to do it. And when I did that, God purged me. He purged me from a lot of like hurt and pain, and a lot of fears, a lot of low self-esteem. I didn't feel good enough, you know, in that. So, and then it brought me, when I started to have a relationship, I felt significant again. I felt valued again. I felt like I'm worthy of love again. So you never know what life is going to throw at you, you know, but you have to take certain measures in order to get to your place of healing. Shift to empowerment, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I got here. It's because I had to take those, I had to I had to get through those certain parts of my life. I had to deal with the suffering. I had to deal with the pain. I had to endure it all to get to victory, and I'm thankful, because now it's so peaceful, so tranquil, so serenity, and I can look at my ex-husband and say, what you calling me for now? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Would you leave me alone? Or, something like that. But it's very cordial. We can co-parent well, to God be the glory. You never know what life is going to throw at you, but you know that you have a God that is with you, and if God before you, who could be against you? He's going to bring you out on top. And for anyone, I guess, who's listening to this, just have faith in whatever situation that you could be going through. It may be relationally, I know, because a lot of people get tied to people that they shouldn't be with, and you got to want God's will for your life. And that's another thing too, breaking soul ties, you being connected with people that are not healthy for you and that are not conducive for you. And what soul ties do is that it not only grips your soul, it can have an effect on your mind, where people can be abusing you and you're tolerating it because your soul is tied to this person. That wasn't really God's will for your life in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just so many different facets to this, but just always have a belief in God. I would say that, because if we're speaking on faith in God, faith in Christ, knowing that He is a deliverer, okay, and deliver you from whatever struggles, pains, whatever, circumstances and obstacles that you're going through. God is a deliverer, and He will see you through. And if I can do it, you surely can do it.
Yes.
I don't want to repeat myself here, but you get the gist of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I most definitely do. And I'm sure my listeners, if anyone is at that point of, I don't know, I hope that you just drink up all of her words, because man, Denina, you're so inspirational. You're so wise. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Renita. Yeah, I mean, and if I can tell people other stories that I've been through, oh my goodness. It was only by the grace of God. I'm honestly, sincerely telling you, it was only by the grace of God. And I don't want to keep saying that, but it's so
true. It's facts.
It is really true.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I can drink this up because I can totally relate. This week, literally, I was thinking back on some things, and all I could do was thank God. Like, whoa, that was pretty deep. You sure pulled me out of that one. Like, I literally was having a moment like, thank you, God, for this. Thank you, God, for that. Because we can't forget. Because that's how you easily get back there, Mm-hmm. So I admire your strength. I admire your courage. I admire your faith in God. Like, you're just a dynamic person, Denina. And the fact that you are sharing these nuggets with your clients or with Shift to Empowerment, I think that's just dope. So keep sharing your light, man. Please keep sharing your light. And where can people find you if they need some mentoring, some cheerleading, from someone, like some solid support? Where can people find you?
You can go to my website, www.theshiptoempowerment.com. I have another website too. You can check that one out at DeninaMonique.com. You can, if you have any bookings, or my Gmail is shiptoempowerment@gmail.com. And everything, most of my information is listed on the website. You can get it from there. And then, yeah, if you ever need coaching or some counseling, hit me up. I'm available.
Yes, I almost want to book you. Yeah, so this, but you are so inspirational. I know that we were supposed to be talking about something totally different, but I like to flow, and
Yes.
I feel like we flow where we was plugged. That kind of happened on your show too. But
Yes.
do you have that published somewhere, our show? Because I can always put the link in the notes.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a podcast, Shift Empowerment Talk, and Renita was a guest on there. I have the video on my social media page. Oh, my social media is let me say my social media, I forgot. At Shift to Empowerment, you can go there. That's Instagram, or at Denina Monique. It's posted there, Renita. The one that you and I had for the podcast is on my personal page, Denina Monique, on Instagram.
Okay, and I'll make sure to put the link there so people can view it, because that was very inspirational.
I love that one.
Yeah, it was very impactful.
Oh man, I really love that one. And you have to come back on. I have to invite you back on.
Yes, most definitely. And I'm gonna invite you back and have a solid date this time. Because I would love to have you back on here. Because you definitely are touching lives. I know that there are some things you said that kind of sunk in my spirit. So I hope that you listeners, I'm not hoping, I know that you listeners have to feel more inspired after this. And hopefully you got to soak up some of this good wisdom. This was wisdom. This wisdom is, I'm never going to say life is not hard, but I will say it's easier with God.
Sure.
You know, it's easier with God. So anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I'm just grateful for the opportunity of being here. I thank you, Renita. I appreciate it. And be blessed, everyone. And yeah.
Yes. Thank you for blessing our blessing the platform. And listeners, this is all about shifting your fear to faith. So what I would like you to do is be sure to be kind to yourself. This is a you journey. Life is not an audition. So make sure that you are living to the fullest. Until next time, don't forget to be your own kind. Bye.
Bye.